Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's Wider Waste webinar, which is a conversation with Joanne Wood, and she is the developer of WikiWaste, which is a fantastic resource for waste professionals to access waste data. Firstly, need to send apologies for my colleague Stuart Henshaw. He would be hosting today, but unfortunately he is on sick leave, so I have jumped in today. Some of you might be familiar with me already. So I'm Beth Webb, and I'm one of the RootSmart consultants, and I've done many of the RootSmart Masterclass webinars. So before I introduce Joe, I'd just like to say we do have a few more webinars in our series coming up. We just need to confirm a few of the dates, and then we'll send through those new dates. So to get back onto the topic then, so Stuart first met Joe a couple of months ago on a CIWM webinar, and she did a very similar webinar to today. And he felt the subject matter was really, really interesting and thought that you, our clients, would love to hear all about it. So I personally haven't seen anything about it yet, so I'm really excited to have a listen in as well. So I'll hand over to Jo in a second. She's going to talk about the development of the website, provide a little tour, and then she'll answer any of the questions you may have. So I will pass it all over to you, Jo.
Thank you very much, Beth, and thank you to Integrated Skills for letting me speak. That's a fantastic opportunity. Thank you. I'm Jo Wood. I currently work for Monksley Limited. We are a waste management and resource management consultancy based in the southwest. And in our spare time, the little spare time that we have, we developed WikiWaste, which I'm going to talk to you about today. I hope you enjoy it. I hope the IT works. I hope the IT gods are on my side. The way it's going to work is there's 3 slides to go through, this one and 2 others, and then I'm going to go live onto the WikiWaste website at www.wikiwaste.org.uk, and I'm going to go through WikiWaste live as if any of us would be using it on the website. So without further ado, I'm going to continue. So WikiWaste is the Wikipedia for the UK waste market and is the platform for sharing information, knowledge and data and everything waste related. What am I going to talk about and how is the next sort of 30-40 minutes going to pan out? I'm first of all going to talk about the objective, how it came to light, how we got to WikiWaste, where it came from, the structure of WikiWaste. So we'll go on to the main page first of all, or the landing page as it's sometimes termed, and we'll look through each of the main subheadings on that page and have a look at what each one contains and how you can more easily find your way through the website. I am going to look at the main local authority pages, what the content that is on them and how the local authority pages work. I'm then going to move on to talking about facilities, waste treatment, particularly the energy from waste facilities. There are huge amounts of information on these pages because there are a large number of energy from waste facilities now in operation and under construction throughout the UK. So it'll just be a run through of the types of information that each page contains. Then I will talk about the recent updates and obviously the next stages. With it being a kind of Wikipedia platform, it's continually developing. So I'll just talk through where we hope to move Wikipedia to, WikiWaste to, and the sorts of projects we are looking at next. So that's how you get onto WikiWaste. It is www.wikiwaste.org.uk. You can put that URL in any browser and it should come up with WikiWaste. Next slide and final slide. So the object, as I've already said, it's the primary purpose was to share knowledge, information and data on the UK waste market. It all came about because I was getting a bit fed up of listing information from local authorities. If I had perhaps gone on Waste Data Flow and pulled a report from Waste Data Flow, I personally find Waste Data Flow really difficult to use, and pulling reports down was always rather problematic. Then I pulled reports down and I'd stored them somewhere. Oh my goodness, where I stored them. Or if I'd issued FOIs, simple FOIs into each local authority asking about residual collections or residual contracts, that sort of thing. I needed somewhere that I could house all of this information that would be really simple and easy for me to get to. And that primarily is how WikiWaste started. It was primarily for local authorities, for use by local authorities, and following lockdowns 1 and 2 primarily, it developed from there. So we first published it in 2019. It is entirely free to use. There is no advertising or promotional material on WikiWaste. In fact, you wouldn't know that us in Monksley had designed it and put it together, because we don't put any Monksley branding on any of the WikiWaste pages. WikiWaste is a company limited by guarantee on a not-for-profit basis, and if we do get any donations, they go back into the running of the site in the same way that Wikipedia works. It is based on the Wikipedia platform, and it's consistent with the principles of Wikimedia, such as we share the very same code of conduct, privacy statements, policies, that sort of thing. There are 3 types of user on WikiWaste. You can either apply for full editorial, which I really hope people will do. Come on in, join the community, expand WikiWaste. It is for everybody, and the more information we can get and put into the system, then the better it will be. I will show you when we go on to WikiWaste how you apply for full editorial comment. Basically, you click a button and 3 cells pop up with what's your name, what would you like your username to be, and put a password in. A commentator, you have to sign up to be a commentator as well, which basically allows you to comment on the pages. We don't currently have any comments on any of our pages. So that would be good if we could start that ball rolling. Sign up and comment, as I said, on the pages, whether you agree with what the page says or you want to add a further comment to it that might be of use without being an editorial, which we can then pick up and put on the system. I do have to say, though, that if anything you comment on or become an editor, it has to be factual. And we ask that everything that you input into WikiWaste is fully referenced in the same manner that the normal Wikipedia platform is referenced. And the third and final way you can access WikiWaste is just to put the URL into your browser and have a look and have a nosy around with the information it contains. And as I said, it is completely free to use. And to log in, we don't even have to log in, free to use and move around the platform. So that's the end of my 3rd slide. I'm now going to try to go live, so bear with me. Let's hope this works. I'm hoping by now you can see the first page of WikiWaste. If you can't, Beth, please shout. So I'm going to carry on if you can all see and I don't hear anything. Right then, so this is the main page. We can see on the URL there, URL at the top, wikiwaste.org.uk, and this is where it takes us to. If we want to comment, give feedback, sign up, then you can click on any one of these sign up buttons here. And that's what it asks you to do. Enter your username. You can see mine at the top. I've chosen Northern Chick. So that's me. And fill all those cells in. It comes through to our IT guy, and he will then give you the go ahead to sign up, either comment or become an editor. It is full of data which is taken from the Environment Agency in England and Wales, the Natural Resources Wales, obviously, and Scottish Environmental Protection Agency for the calendar year 2019. We won't get 2020 data until the autumn, late September, early October, and at which point, as soon as the 2020 data comes out, we will amend WikiWaste and upload the current data. So 2019 for the regulatory bodies. As I go down, though, the information that we take for the local authorities, which is taken from Waste Data Flow and DEFRA statistics, I should add, is for financial year 2019-20 for the English and Welsh data. The Scottish data is slightly different because they operate on calendar year 2019, and Northern Ireland data is to follow. Unfortunately, there's no information in at the moment for the Northern Irish local authorities, but that will change shortly. So I'm now going to work through each of these. If I'm scrolling too quickly, please do shout. I'm now going to work through each of the sort of like title headings so you can see where they go and the sort of information each of these headers contains. So if I go to the first one on organisations, so this lists all of our local authorities, waste collection authorities, waste disposal authorities, government organisations, and anybody else involved in waste management. So you can see there's a little bit of information on health and safety exec. We could click there. Bit on the British Standards Institution, obviously, because they do standards on waste management and 14,001 and those sorts of things. And information on the regulatory authorities. If we click any of those, should I go on Environment Agency? If we click anything in blue, I should quickly say, it has a page and the page is live. Like with the standard Wikipedia platform, the idea is that you move from page to page, you read the information, right, okay, I want to know a bit more about this. So everything in blue can be clicked on and you'll move from page to page. So I'm going to scroll back to the main page. I should quickly say there are over 1,000 pages populated on WikiWaste at the current time, over 2,500 if you then add in all the redirect pages, acronyms pages, and the template pages that I'll come to on later. So that is the organisations. We've got a whole host of acronyms. I used to be head of waste for Ministry of Defence for many moons, and I thought Ministry of Defence had a lot of acronyms, but my goodness, waste management can hold its own. So all of these acronyms are listed in alphabetical order. They are all in italics, as you can see, all blue, but all in italics. And the italics on Wikipedia and also on WikiWaste mean that it's a redirect. So you won't go to a page that says ABPR, animal byproducts, for instance. You'll just go straight to the animal byproducts page, which is what I'm going to do now. And there's some information on the animal byproducts regulations, the latest ones, and the different categories of animal byproducts. That's all there. So that's the acronym pages. Obviously, if you think we've missed any, or there's other acronyms we need to add, please do either get in touch or sign up to be an editor and add them to the list. Next one. So arrangements. Now, this is quite interesting. So this particular section contains information on all the arrangements for the waste collection authorities. And it's also contains information on whether the waste collection authorities, for instance, use in-house, outsource, or local authority trading companies. We can click on all these, on each of these blue links to determine who has recycling collected fortnightly, monthly, who's got food commingled with their green, and that sort of thing, and the sorts of systems that are in operation throughout England, Wales and Scotland, of which we all know there are numerous. So if I go, for instance, into something that says green charged, I come to a page on green chargeable collections for green waste. This bit at the top, overview of arrangements for green waste collection, is a standard template that appears when you click on all of those about, you know, this is what segregated collection is, this is what I mean by single stream collection, green charged or not charged, lots of blue links for you to click through to other pages that contain the information. And then if we scroll down a bit further, we have got all the local authorities that charge for green waste. And you can then go to your authority from this page, or you can put it in the search engine and have a look around and who else is charging and who's not. So that's really, really interesting, I think, and quite a powerful tool. Let's have a look. If I go into residual 3 weekly, perhaps. Yeah, once again, as a little template at the top, a bit more about residual waste collections and who has residual waste collected. What did I put in? Residual weekly. Oh, there'll be a huge long list of people that still do it weekly. Yeah. And let's have a look. 3 weekly. Have I got fat fingers? Yeah, let's have a look. So who's got 3 weekly? I'm assuming it'll be a lot shorter. Oh, it is. And what a surprise. That's just currently the Welsh and Scottish authorities. So that's what is in the arrangement section. Let me go back to the main page. I am going back and back and back, but I could actually just click here on the left hand side main page, and that will take me back quicker. I'm going to do that next time. Tonnages and waste types is the next section, and this basically gives an overview of the different definitions of waste. Automotive shredder residue I've got there under A. Batteries, bric-a-brac, what's heterogeneous waste, what's homogeneous waste in the middle of my screen there on H. So definition of landfill gas, clinical waste there. Clinical waste is in italics because it diverts directly to the healthcare waste page that we should be calling it. And lots of other information on tonnages from waste type. So if I scroll down, I'm going to scroll down to W, wood waste. So wood is in italics because some people just put wood in the search engine. Other people, wood for composting. I know they all direct to this wood waste page. I'm going to click on here, wood waste, and we can see what these waste tonnages look like. So the pages for every different waste stream is set up in exactly the same way. There's a bit of information at the top, a picture, and then a market overview, what the wood waste market is looking like at the moment. That could be plastics, paper, metals, textiles, batteries, all different things are set out in exactly the same way. So we can almost instantaneously see that the current size of the UK wood waste market is 4.5 million tonnes. There's a link, I'll digress, but there's a link in red there for the Wood Recycling Association. That means that the Wood Recycling Association don't currently have a page. So if we click on the Wood Recycling Association, it will allow us to then update their page, and that would then turn blue. So if we know anybody in the Wood Recycling Association that wants to write their page, that would be great. So we can scroll down. There's information on wood waste grades, and then we look at the macro tonnages, and this information is published from DEFRA, and it is produced in quite a fancy pie graph there, which shows the tonnages arising from each of those different sectors. This information is taken from DEFRA's digest of waste statistics, actually, and updated every time that digest and DEFRA data is updated. And then we go down, and there is information on the different types of wood, different types and different categories of wood, and it's exactly the same for the glass pages, the plastic pages. We've got loads of different polymers, batteries, depending whether they are portable batteries, automotive, that sort of thing. And it's at this stage it gets quite interesting, I think, because this is a pull from Waste Data Flow now, looking at question 100 and the types of local authorities that have large tonnages of these types of materials and where they are going, just so members of the public can see what happens to their waste. And myself as a member of the public, I just find this absolutely fascinating, actually. We have had to put thresholds in, though, because if we didn't, there'd be pages and pages of scrolling forever. So the chipboard and MDF is local authorities that send more than 4,000 tonnes to a single operator. And we can see that Nottinghamshire County are at the top with just over 16,000 tonnes of chipboard and MDF, and they go to our Plevin and Sons over there in Retford, Nottinghamshire. Cheshire East send 6,000 tonnes to our Plevin as well, so that's quite interesting. I could do with our Plevin writing their WikiWaste page. As we move down, we've got composite wood materials. This threshold is reduced to 1,000, and we've got Gwynedd Council seem to be sending some of their, what have we got? Did I say composite wood is going to Park Adfer, just short of 6,000 tonnes. Hatfield Wood Recyclers, that will say obviously a pull for N the next time it's updated. And yeah, all the information on composite wood. Then we go to just normal wood, 20,000 tonnes of material to a single operator. Greater Manchester appears at the top. 46.5. Goodness me, that's a lot. And Essex, bizarrely. So this is what I find fascinating. Essex there, miles away from Droylsden in Manchester, but it's still sending 25,500 tonnes up there. So it's really fascinating, I think, to see how waste streams and wastes are moving throughout the country in a really easy to use and simple format. I don't have to go on Waste Data Flow and pull a report down. So wood for composting, is the last table. What have I got? 2,000 tonnes is the threshold here, and all of these local authorities above 2,000 tonnes are taking wood for composting to these particular facilities. So that is what the wood page looks at. And as I said, the plastics and the glass and the metal is all exactly the same. I'm scrolling up. I probably shouldn't, but I just want to say that I'm going to go back to this main page button here to take me straight back to the main page again rather than pressing the back button, which I can do. If I'm scrolling too fast, people, please do shout. I've done tonnages and waste types. Economics. So these are all the economic activities and information on them. What do they, basically a definition, what do they mean? So we've got information on what the contract for difference is, information on the non-fossil fuel obligation, what the substances mean, what are out there, what's the renewables obligation. Each one of these can be clicked on and you will find information on any of these economic drivers. Then I've got technologies and solutions. This is the bit that I find interesting, because here we have got a full list of the biomass plants, biomass energy from waste plants, the energy from waste plants that accept residual waste. Of the cement kilns there, because cement kilns are now taking an amount of SRF, solid recovered fuel, and refuse derived fuel into their plants. And the most recent update is regard to high temperature and clinical waste incinerators. So we've spent the past couple of months updating information with regard to where the clinical waste incinerators are in the UK and what their tonnage is, what they're taking, and also what municipal incinerators are also taking clinical waste. So that's quite interesting. So I'm going to talk about, I'll come back to talking about these just as we go through, but this is a really, really interesting category, this technologies and solution. Once again, if you want to find out any more about any other technology, it's here. We have got information on, obviously, anaerobic digestion is there, advanced conversion technology. Oh, what else? We've got dry heat, gas fermentation, Fischer-Tropsch process, fluidized bed in incinerators. Obviously, landfill is a big section within WikiWaste. Crematoriums, non-haz landfill. Don't know why Skelton Grange has appeared there. That's interesting. I might have to take that one. What the Waste Incineration Directive is. Interesting. So that's all in technologies and solutions if you want a further look through. And I'm going to come back to talking about the EFW plants in a little while. And legislation and policy is the last section. And I actually think this is the area on WikiWaste that could do with the most attention and update. As you well know, there is more legislation associated with waste management than there is in any other area of environmental protection. So this section of WikiWaste could just be huge. lots more information, I think, could be added, and whenever I've got the time to add it, or if anybody else is on board with updating this information on legislation with regard to waste management, would be much appreciated. So lots of different pieces of legislation there. And I have just done a bit today actually on the Environmental Permitting Regulations 2016 and added a new table in as to how they correlate across the 2010, and got information on waste acceptance criteria. The SD goals have actually gone in as well. Needs to be a lot more information, I think, on perhaps the Scottish regulations and some of the Welsh ones as we move away and become more devolved with regard to waste. So let me go back to the main page again. I am now going to take you through what the local authority pages look like. So with any Wikipedia platform, we do most of our searching in this box up here on the right. So I want to have a look at my local authority, and I am actually going to put in here now South Northamptonshire, because that's my local authority. I'm going to click it and it should load. There we go. Right, it's loaded. So standard template across all local authorities throughout England, Wales and Scotland. They all look the same. The data they contain is different, obviously, but it's a standard template. So as we scroll down, first of all, we have population and land area information from the Office of National Statistics. And then we move down and we have key metrics, some that are ranked and some that are unranked. So the two ranked ones are percentage of household waste sent for reuse, recycling or composting, which is the X National Indicator 192, and the amount of household waste collected per person, which is the X Best Value Performance Indicator 84A. I can click on this ranking button. At the moment, I can see that South Northants collected 59.9% for recycling, and they're currently 12th. And they collected 425.6 kilograms per person of household waste. That's quite a lot. And they are 284. But let me have a closer look at that. So I'm clicking on the ranking now, and hopefully it'll come up brilliant. So I can... England, I think if I scroll down further, Wales and Scotland are there as well, but we can't compare between each of the devolved administrations because they all do it slightly differently. But I can click on authority and it will bring me up all the authorities in alphabetical order. Great, I can have a look at those, scroll down, find where I am. I can then do it by amounts recycled and who's at the top. Three Rivers District Council there. Somebody did ask me previously, is it the same ranking that Let's Recycle use? Yes, it is, except that we purely do it on recycling percentage at this point here. So if we look, East Riding of Yorkshire and Vale of Whitehorse have got the same figure of 63.3%. So they're both joint thirds, which means St Albans is fifth. There's obviously nobody in at fourth, and it's the same a bit further down that we've got two people that ranked at number 10, East Devon and Stratford-on-Avon. So we can have a look at percentage recycled, and we can also have a look at the amount collected of household waste collected per person, X BVPI 84A, and we can see that actually at the top are the London boroughs making an appearance. So giving them a bit of kudos for the low amount of household waste that each of them picked up. They might not have a great recycling figure, but they've got a very low household ranking there. Right, so if I go back, should be back on South Northants. I'll just check. Yep, I am back on South Northants. So those are the key metrics when they're ranked. And then we move down, and these are all the unranked metrics that are taken from Waste Data Flow, although we actually pick them up from DEFRA statistics on .gov.uk so that we're aligned with all the data that's being publicly shared and is publicly available. So English local authorities give us their information and data in a slightly different way to Wales and Scotland. And I'll come on to that, and we'll go on to a Welsh local authority and Scottish local authority. But for the time being, local authority collected waste is right at the top. How much do they collect in total? Then we look at household. So it breaks it down into household waste, how much household waste do they collect, and how much do they send for recycling. And we can see that actually if you add the dry recycling and the green up, it should add up to 24. And then we've got non-household waste, i.e. business waste. How much did they collect? How much was recycled? How much was not? And then at the bottom is the management of local authority collected waste. South Northamptonshire Council is a waste collection authority, so that doesn't have any information at all. So that's all zero, but that would be completed if it was a unitary authority or if it was an upper tier authority, county council, that sort of thing. And then we have a couple of other government metrics, X National Indicator 191 on residual household waste per household and percentage of municipal waste sent to landfill. So that's the data. If we continue to scroll down, there's more information on each of the local authority pages. So we got collections contract information. We at Monksley have only completed the primary collection arrangements. We decided we'd really like any secondary collection arrangements to be completed by each individual authority. And by secondary, I mean such as if you got a different collection arrangements for houses of multiple occupancy, have you got different collection arrangements for houses that are on main A roads, highways, that sort of thing, that have to be collected differently. So everybody else is on bins, for instance, but because of the speed that you need to collect those on red routes, for instance, they are all on bag collection. So we've left that clear at the moment, the secondary one, just so we can get the local authorities to fill that in with the most accurate secondary collection arrangements. If we go to the top, primary, it's the same format and same template across all the local authority pages. How often are the residual waste collected? Do they collect green waste? Is it charged? Is it separate? Or is it mixed with food waste? And the information is all there. Once again, blue links mean you can click onto those definitions. If I continue to scroll down, I've got the collection arrangements there. I know it's an in-house service. For those local authorities that have got rolling in-house services, the duration of contract will just say 1. And there's an approximate value. For the in-house services, these are quite dated because it's difficult to get hold of accurate values for waste contracts. It's much easier when a contract goes out for tender, and then once it has been awarded, I can go on the ODU and then find out how much the value it's worth and that sort of thing, and I can fill that in. So that might be a bit out of date. If we continue to scroll down there, we've got destination information. Once again, a question 100 pull, and I can see that South Northamptonshire Council have a couple of contracts for their recycler, their food waste, their green waste. This is how much in 2019-20 they produced, and this is where it's going. So as a resident and a member of the public, I find that absolutely fascinating and really interesting to find out where it goes. However, not all of the information is there because it's a collection authority. I wonder where my residual waste might go, so I'm going to click on Northamptonshire County Council there. I should quickly say, as of the 1st of April, Northamptonshire went from a county council with 7 local authorities, it became 2 unitaries, West and East Northamptonshire. And only when it updates on waste data flow will we then transfer it across with the updated data. A bit like Buckinghamshire Council, that went live on 1st of April last year. So when we do the next pull, that'll say Buckinghamshire rather than each of the individual local authorities. So same format, same template, same information, except that now we are seeing information on household waste recycling centres, how many they've got in the county, what's the population per HWRC and the land area. We've got these 2 ranked metrics again. And we've got the unranked metrics in exactly the same template and format as we've seen previously. But if I scroll down, I'm hoping to see, management of local authority collective waste has been completed. So some information on where it's going, how much is going to landfill, how much is going to incineration with energy recovery, that sort of thing. And then there's government indicators below. If I scroll down a bit further, I've then got this destination information, and I have to say Northampton seems to go on and on and on and on. Didn't realise we collected so much waste. So Northamptonshire, what do we do? What can we see? Oh, I can see that majority of our residual waste currently seems to be going to Wolverhampton energy from waste plant, 43,500 tonnes. A little bit's going to Coventry. That's interesting. Some of that, obviously, some of our, it says residual waste there. I'm assuming that green or something is going to Amy's MBT. Oh, no, that will be residual waste into their gasifier, I'd have thought. This is interesting. Look, some of our residual waste is going to Ferrybridge. That's quite away from Northamptonshire, 6,000 tonnes. So that's moving up and down the country. Anything else? 2,000 tonnes going to Viridor, Ardley plants. There we go. That's sort of information. That's what that contains. I did say I'd show you Wales and Scotland. So if I put in, let's say Cardiff Council, that's it. They all go to the same page. It's a Cardiff County Council as well, but it's on redirects. So Cardiff Council, same format again, until we get down to these reported metrics. There's still the two that get ranked. They're ranked against each other in Wales, and there's 22 unitary authorities in Wales, so they're ranked against one another. And there is our unranked metrics, not in as much detail as the English local authorities, but enough to be able to see how much they collected, how much was recycled, composted, and how much went for disposal, into energy recovery, landfill, that sort of thing. So that's what the Welsh local authorities look like. And if I quickly go up to Aberdeen. I've put two E's in. Aberdeen, that's it. Let's have Aberdeenshire. So Scottish one, 32 local authorities. Once again, same, slightly different ranked metrics, but only because they've got this household waste carbon impact, tons of CO2 equivalent per person. So that's really fascinating. So they can do an equivalence comparison between each of their 32 local authorities. So all slightly different. And then we've got destination information at the bottom for what they have inputted into waste data flow. Right, I am now going to go back to the main page and talk about energy from waste plants. So that's local authorities, and that's what that looks like. So if I scroll down, and I'm going to go to list of residual EFW, and I'm going to click on residual waste EFW page here, actually, because that's the one I really want to show you. So every single energy from waste plant in the UK is listed on WikiWaste. This is the overview page, which lists all the energy from waste plant and gives you a quick overview of what the residual EFW operational capacity looks like at the moment. So plated capacity, we're about 16.5 million tonnes. Let's have a look. And here we go, is a list of all the operational EFWs operating. We have a map on the right hand side with a ID number attached to them, and that ID number is in this table on the left hand side. Each of these energy from waste plants have got their own page and information on that particular energy from waste plant, which I will come to. But if we scroll down, we've got more information on growth in residual waste EFW and how it's grown over the years as more plants have come online. We've got a list of the ones that are under construction, and when we receive notification that they have gone live, then they get moved obviously from under construction and put in the operational. Don't think it'll be long before Rookery South moves from operational into construction into operational. And then we've got all the planning, all the energy from waste plants that have received planning consent, but they haven't had a spade in the ground or anything yet, of which there are quite a lot. And obviously only a handful will ever get built out, but they're all there. Obviously lots in red. We've got Skelton Grange in blue because that got given a page after it got hit financial close last week before, whenever it was. So if I scroll back to top, I'm going to show you what the energy from waste pages look like. And I am going to pick the one at the top. Let's have a look. Runcorn. Just because it's the largest. There we go. So every single page is the same with regard to energy from waste plant, but what is the information it contains? Quick overview on the facility, a picture, how big it is, what the plated capacity is, should I say, takes household and commercial waste. A bit of history on how it came to be and how it was built and its growth. Information on the plan and the technology that it contains. And obviously it's got 4 lines here, designed to run and configured with RDF with a calorific value of around 11.5 megajoules per kilogram. And then we've got information on the local authorities that put their waste into the plant. I'll come back to that though, as I just scroll to the top here before I miss it. Every single energy from waste page has a call out box here on the right, so you can quickly and very easily see the information that it contains. So we know what the waste license is, who the operator is, its operational capacity, 1.1 million tonnes. Is it a recovery site? Yes, it is. When it was granted. Is it combined heat and power, the funding type? We also have information on the operator's annual report. So every year, in the first 3 months of the year, every energy from waste plant has to produce operator's report. That's sent to the Environment Agency, and then we request it, and the information is inputted into WikiWaste. So here we can see in 2020, they didn't put any household in because it was all as refuse derived fuel there. A little bit of commercial and industrial waste, and that CLIN is actually stands for clinical waste in, but they didn't take any clinical waste. So that's the information in a nutshell for each of those years as to what the operator believes the tonnage that went in, and obviously output data, how much incinerator and bottom ash has come out of the plant as a percentage of the total, and again how much air pollution control residues come out as a percentage of the total. So local authority data, I want to know who puts their waste into Runcorn EFW, and I scroll down and I can see all these local authorities here, which there are quite a few. No surprises. I'm expecting to see Greater Manchester. Yes, there I do. Greater Manchester, 489,000 tonnes goes into Runcorn. Lancashire County Council obviously put a bid in. Manchester City, yeah. And then Cheshire East, they've obviously got the contract. Warrington's putting a bit in, 31,000. So I can see everybody that puts their waste in. This is quite interesting when I look down, because, you know, you've got Gwynedd, Denbighshire and Flintshire still putting waste in, even though they've got Park Adver on their doorstep. And then Cardiff, for some reason, is sending 196 tonnes all the way from Cardiff up to Runcorn. There we go. And we also did an Environment Agency data pool, and the information is also contained on each of these sites. And that tells us that it is only taking 191210 and 191212, which are the RDF, refuse derived fuel, and solid recovered fuel codes, which would agree with the operator's report we've just seen, because it didn't have anything in their household cell, with the majority coming from the northwest. So that's what each of the energy from waste plants look like. Each page is exactly the same. So if you just put the plant in the search engine you want to look at, or you go to the residual EFW page, you can find information on every single energy from waste plant. Obviously, if you know more about that plant than we do, please get editorial rights and put some more information in. I should also say, moving quickly away from energy from waste plants, information has gone on some landfill sites as well, non-hazardous landfill sites. So you can see the same sorts of information on landfill. So I picked Dimmer here. Once again, a summary when it came into being, who used to own it, what its environmental permit is. We've got the pull-out box again on the right. It's geology, it's engineering, environmental control. Any other infrastructure they've got there? Looks like got composting, IVC, and the tonnage handled right at the very bottom. So EWC codes and how much went in. So that is the information on landfill. That is the information on energy from waste plants. I will just click into high temperature, because this was the information. This was the last thing we sort of inputted. So information on each of the 4 high temperature incinerators that we've got in the UK and the clinical waste incinerator plants are listed here, and the difference between high temp incinerators and clinical waste, what makes them different. And if I scroll down, we've got a list of clinical incinerators in the UK. Once again, here's the map. That's where they're all based. And I continue to scroll down and I can see these are all the plants. Once again, if I click on something, let me click on Nostrop actually. It's really difficult getting pictures of clinical waste incinerators because they are sometimes just tend to be part of the hospital or something. But the pages mirror that of energy from waste plants. We've got a pull-out box, we've got a bit of a summary, we've got information on the plant, annual report data, and tonnage, EA, and tonnage going in, the EWC codes. No surprises to see that majority of them are 18 codes, a little bit of chapter 9, a little bit of chapter 7, inorganic, organic chemicals, that sort of thing. But lots of information on each of the clinical waste incineration plants. I'm just going to go back to the overarching page here. So type of site, capacity, what's their plated capacity, what can they take? Actually, how much did they take in 2020? And how much did they take of that proportion? How much did they take that was clinical waste? So some of the plants, I've got Ashford here at line 9, plated capacity of 8,500 tonnes, but it took 8,013 tonnes, of which all of it was clinical. But that's not necessarily the case for every single one. List of high temperature incinerators. There are the 4 high temperature incinerators within the UK. That's the total they received in 2020. And the amount of clinical, no surprises, it is really low because it's so expensive to put waste into HTIs. And then finally, we've done a poll of those municipal incinerators, or should say energy from waste plants, that are actually taking clinical waste as well, or are licensed to accept clinical waste. And if we move across to the columns, obviously municipal energy from waste plant, what's the capacity, what was the total received in 2020, and actually what was the total amount of clinical waste they received. So this one here, Portsmouth, took 7,000 tonnes. Yeah, that's the largest by the looks of it, largest amount of all of them there. So orange bag waste, clinical waste, orange bagged clinical waste, I should say, primarily, rather than the yellow bag that in most instances has to be incinerated. So information on reporting, obviously, then you can move to different pages from there. And I think that's it, actually. Are there any questions? That's WikiWaste in a nutshell, unless anybody else wants me to go through any other pages. Over to you, Beth.
Photos. If anyone has any questions, do feel free to add them in the bottom chat. But while people are doing that, I just want to say thank you so much, Jo. That was really, really interesting. And it's such a great platform because Wikipedia is such a known, website, and using the same kind of layout, it just makes it all so simple and to get all that information. And we do have a comment here. that your passion for data and information is infectious, which I would definitely agree with that, 100%.
Yeah, infectious if I can understand it. Yeah, and it's simple and easy to pick up. Yeah.
Yeah, there's such a wealth of data available. Whilst we wait to see if there's any questions, I do have one. So how do you feel WikiWaste would benefit local authorities?
Well, when it was set up and I was putting together the information and the sorts of data I'd like to see, and what I thought local authorities would like to see, because we're all intrinsically nosy. And from my time when I worked in local authority, I always wanted to know what my neighbours were doing. Oh, are we beating them on our recycling percentage yet? So I am hoping that local authorities will go into WikiWaste, will use WikiWaste, pick their data up, and even if they only use it for answering FOIs, because they don't actually have to answer an FOI now. They can just say, click on WikiWaste and our page on WikiWaste, and that will have all the information you need on our data. If they get any questions on, actually, where does our residual waste go? Where are you sending it? All the information you need is on WikiWaste, is the link, and that's a simple answer to an FOI, rather than a waste officer having to sit there for the next 20-40 minutes trying to provide quite a detailed response. You can just do it all in a web link. So I hope that is useful, and I hope that's also how they use it.
So obviously you went on and said at the beginning that all the information has to be factual and fully referenced. How would someone go about, getting involved in editing those data and creating those pages that, with those red links?
Oh, we'd love that. So obviously click on sign up here, contact the admin, that sort of thing. I'll just click.
Okay.
That did. Oh no, that's not.
Oh, sorry. We'll go back to screen sharing.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, yeah. So click on admin, and it'll go directly to our IT guy. Just say I want a username or password. Sign me up, and then anybody can then contribute. I don't know if anybody's actually edited Wikipedia. It's exactly the same way, and we are more than happy to run through how people edit. So can you see my screen, Beth? Yeah. Right, I'm logged in as me. Let me go to a page. Let me go to something like landfill. Here we go. So is it whirring? Yeah, it's whirring in the background. Right, okay then. So if you are logged in like I am, you can then click on edit. So you've got your login details. You then click on edit and it comes up in a format like this, editing landfill. And if you have got any further information that we may have missed on any of the pages, or you want to do or want to add new pages, that sort of thing, brilliant. It'll come up with this editing box and you just type normally, but we have to put references in all the way through. Let me see if I can see here we go. Yeah, let me scroll down. I'm just trying to find one.
If it's not possible right now.
Yeah, no, here we go. Do you see? I don't know if you see. It says waste management paper 26B. Halfway down, then it's got Ref B waste management. So we can. That's the hardest thing, I think, when you're writing Wikipedia pages, putting the references in, because they have to go in such a funny format. I think it's funny. If you get used to it after a while, but Wikipedia uses these mad references. So if I just quickly scroll down, then it should be at the bottom. Oh, long page. Oh yeah, then it's got references at the bottom, which comes up on the normal page.
Okay.
I'm going to quickly scroll down and get rid of all that. Oh no, go away. Cancel. Yeah, so then if I scroll down to right to the bottom, sorry everybody, it makes people feel sick. Then you can see all the references as we go through.
There.
Yeah.
Lovely.
So that's that.
That's really interesting. Thank you. It doesn't seem like we have any questions from anyone. We have recorded the webinar, so we will be sharing it on our website and on LinkedIn. So if there you want to see anything again, or if you've got any questions, do feel free to either contact us at Integrated Skills, or I believe there are some contact details in your slides at the end here.
Let me scroll
Yeah,
down to the
they're here
bottom if I
on
can.
screen.
There we go. Yeah, can you see them?
Yeah.
Yes, that's my
So they're all there
WikiWaste.
if anyone wants
Yeah.
to get in contact with you directly. So I think that's it for today. So I just want to say thank you to everyone for logging in, and especially to you, Jo, our guest speaker. It's been a really, really interesting webinar. And as I said at the beginning, hopefully we'll have some more webinars coming to you soon. We just need to confirm some of those dates, and then we'll get those advertised. So hopefully everyone has a lovely afternoon, and we'll say goodbye.
Yeah, thank you, Beth. Thanks for the invitation.
No
That was great. Hope it was useful.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you. Bye.
Take care. Bye.